Hello guys, this is Krishna. Thank you for joining me on this new video. What I'm going to cover is actually how you can monitor your server, the resources of your server, right? So if you want to follow along with me, or you don't have an account yet, maybe later on you want to grab an account, you're going to see in the description of this video, you're going to find a link. This is a referral link. It's going to provide you with a free trial, but as well you can see over here I do have a code that's going to provide you with 10% off for the next 3 months if you like. Okay, so I already have a server here that I just started not too long ago, and basically what we want to do is see if we have enough resources for our server. So if I click on the server right now, where I need to go is come up here, monitoring, and over here, I'm gonna have the first tab that I have here is basically a summary of the resources, right? So I just have, so if I go back here, I just have an application running. So, there isn't really like a lot of demand for the resources of the server, but it does show us a little bit some of the information that we want to know there. So we're going to have access to the usage of the RAM, so how much all our application on that server is basically using. So you see right now we still have a little bit of ways to go, right? But I'm probably gonna say that right now, and that application I have already set it up, so there is really no plugin or nothing on it. So, but if you add a couple more, maybe three or four that have pretty demanding plugins, you're gonna see that it's gonna use quite a bit of RAM over here. And the other thing as well that I noticed, it's not because one application is using 327 megabyte that the other application as well are gonna use that. It seems like there is some resources, some RAM that is being used just by default, right? So it's probably gonna use maybe another 50 or maybe 100 megabyte, but I haven't really. I really depends, but I haven't really seen it double, every time that you're using an application, right? So that is the RAM that we have here. The CPU as well is really important. If your CPU is maxed out, you're gonna see that your application, especially because a lot of the application I have here, the one that I run down there, is basically a WordPress. And when you're gonna try to switch pages or trying to add a plugin, you're gonna feel like it's gonna be really sluggish, right? So you also want to have you also want to make sure that your CPU has enough room to breathe. So this is really nice over here, right? But the more you're gonna add, and probably I'm gonna do a demo, you're gonna feel like you're gonna see that it actually that gonna use more. So over here we have the disk, and basically all the WordPress that you're gonna create and add to your server is gonna use some space. So over here is like you still have out of the 25 uh, gigabyte that you had for your server when you created the server, you already used about 7 right now. Okay, and like I said, I'm gonna create another one, and we can come back and try to see how much you used, right? How much you used right after. So, and a little bit below here, this is what we have for the bandwidth. And by default, if I go, I believe the server that I have, it is probably about a terabyte of traffic, right? So over here, I'm not really doing anything, but it lets you know that I've used about 120 megabyte of bandwidth. And the bandwidth is gonna be egress and ingress. So basically, just mean data that is coming in and data as well that is going out, right? So this is what is gonna calculate over here. And if you have multiple application over here, you can see a little bit part of the details as well, that you're gonna have over here for application wise. So it's gonna provide you that information. Okay, this is a summary like I mentioned, but if we come up here for details, we're gonna see that we're gonna be able to go a little bit deeper into the information that we're having right now. So over here I'm looking at 7 days, but this over here I just started this server yesterday, and I wanted to have a little bit of data there to show. So right now nothing is gonna show, but it's letting me know as far as the free memory what I have over here. And as well, if you read over here, it's gonna let you know, it's gonna provide you some metrics for you to watch out, based on the server. So it's letting me know over here if I'm noticing that every time below 100 megabyte. So right now I'm within the 600 uh, zone over here, right? So I'm still safe. But if I was way down to 100, that means that I really don't have enough memory left, and I really need to create a server, right? So it's providing you those threshold over here for you to watch out. And if you come up here, we have different metrics that we can have a look at, right? And you can just come up here and have a look to the one that's really important to you. But we can look at the CPU over here, and it's letting you know as well if you're constantly within 10 and 20%, then you need to increase your server size. And right now I'm within the 85 to 100% over here. Okay, so that's if you really want to go and dig a little bit deeper. Compared to this over here, we have the summary, but over here you're gonna see it throughout time as time is passing by, and you have different um, um, timeline that you can select here to see a little bit better that information. You also have new relic. On this one, I haven't set it up, but this one is even goes a lot deeper. That is really if you have an application that is running and maybe you have some type of error somewhere that is happening and you really want to dig even deeper, then you have a new relic that you can set up. It looks like right now they're now asking to have some type of keys. Before it wasn't there. You could just go and set up a new relic, but yeah, it really goes a lot. And if you're a developer, you probably know what it is. If you're just using WordPress, that kind of thing, you might not need to use that much, right? But this might be sufficient for what you need. So this is how you actually monitor a server. You actually also can monitor an application. So if I come up here to my application, but I'm not gonna go deep into it because I haven't really done anything on this application, and I'm probably sure that a lot of the data that is there is gonna be unavailable. So if I just have a look right now, I see no data available, um, and probably again no data available. So you know, um, we're not going to spend a lot of time here, but you definitely have the possibility to come up here and to really see what's going on in your specific application. So the only thing I'm going to do right now, so if we have a look right now, let me go back here to the monitoring, where I'm monitoring everything right now. So we're looking at about 7 gigabyte of disk, 300. Actually, let me write it down somewhere. I should probably even just take a picture. So we are at RAM 300 megabyte, CPU 6%, and disk 7 gigabyte. Okay, should have probably just taken a picture. So right now I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna create an application. So I'm just gonna do it on the same server because I want to see how it does impact the server, right? I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a clean one, and over here, name your application. I'm gonna say app 2, right? That's fine, and I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna create that application. It's probably gonna take a little while, so let me come back to it. It's just gonna take 2 minutes, but I'm not gonna have you wait. Let me come back here when this is done. Hello guys, so the application has just been installed, right? So if I come up here, just look at the application, you're gonna see that now I have two applications running, and we're gonna go back to our server right now. We're gonna go to monitoring, and you're gonna see over here that it did take a little bit more resources. So if I just pull up what I had here, so we went from 330 to 400. So like I say, it doesn't really double, right? It's gonna use maybe a 100 megabyte, but as well it depends, especially when you're gonna start using the application, this is gonna start to increase, right? And over here as well, the CPU went from 6 to 23, and it seems like the disk didn't really move quite a bit, right? There is as well some default, some default files that it needs to have there, right? And as well, what I noticed sometimes is when you just install an application, those number might be out of whack, right? So you might need to wait a little bit, maybe 5-10 minutes, and try to refresh a little bit just for it to come back to normal. but it feels like this is what we really have for those two applications there. Okay, and the thing that you're gonna see is when you start to really max out those resources, it starts to get yellow at first, and then it's gonna move to, I think you're gonna see red. So when you see the red there, especially already when you see the yellow, it already means that you're already there maxing out the resource of the server. So you should already see either to increase it to scale it vertically. So either you want to increase the RAM in the CPU, or this of the of or the size over here, or you want to create a new server. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it below, and I will leave it at this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll be back with another video next time. Okay, bye.